Okay, good morning all. So, what we discussed in the last class, we discussed with respect to the menu functions, structures, and different types of the menus, and what should be is the with respect to the consistency and graphical menus, the standard keyboard accelerator, and some of the shortcuts, menu choice description, menu titles. So writing a menu, these are all the discussion conducted in the last class. So today we will discuss with respect to the menu bar. So what is a menu bar? So you all of you have see the menus of Word, right? So can you able to see the menus here in the Word, MS Word? This is
Yes, sir.
okay. So look at here. So they have, oh no, this is a latest version, Microsoft. So they made in a different way. So if you click on here, the sub menus, new, open, save, print, prepare, everything will be coming in a line. Okay. So when you click on prepare again, with respect to the preparation, whatever the sub menus are there, that is given here. So it can be a properties, it can be inspect document, it can be encryption of the document, or it can be a restrict permission, something like that. Do you know the encrypt documents? Why it is useful? So encrypt document help you to protect your file. For example, you have made one any research article or any confidential data, so that you don't want to share with anybody. For example, if you press this encrypt document, so you may have to protect with some password. Say you have protected this particular file. This is a confidential file, and you have protected with some 4-digit PIN. So when the suppose if anybody want to see this file content, they have to enter the same passcode. Otherwise, it will not open completely. It will just say it will ask for the password and it will keep the content confidentially. So like this, so they have made. So why I'm explaining all this? Because they made a main menu. Under the main menu, so many sub menus. So earlier in a Word version in 2003 and all, when you click, pull down was coming. Now they made like this. Now they made like this. All the related work can be done with respect to the the graphical items. So reference, mailing, so many options have been come. So this design they have been did a lot of research, Microsoft people, and they come to the conclusion based on the user experience feedback with respect to the Microsoft Word since more than its inception. So in the earlier version of the Word, it is different, and in between 2003 2007 has come. So the version to version things have been changing. Okay, so that is where the research come into picture. Any doubts, Jessica?
No, sir. No, sir.
You are able to hear my voice and all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now come to this menu bar. So here the file edit option same. This is the earlier Microsoft Word version menu. So what the menu bar is to identify and provide access to common and frequently used application actions. A menu bar choice by itself should not initiate any action. So this was discussed in the last class. So by itself it should not initiate any actions. It should happen once the automatically once the user initiate the action, then only it should proceed. Otherwise it should not proceed. We also discussed about the advantage disadvantage in the last classes. And now let us move to the pull down menu. Pull down menu in the sense, so when you click on the main menu, the option related to that main menu will be come in a in the display screen. So this is called a pull down. When you pull it, the down option will show you the different option which will help the user. Okay, this is what the meaning of pull down menu. So next, so what it says here is to initiate frequently used application action that takes place on a wide variety of different windows. So whatever the frequently used options are there, that will be listed here. A small number of items will be there. Next, the third point, item best represented textually, and fourth one, items whose content rarely changes. So these are all the the properties with respect to the pull down menu, because here the contents cannot change more oftenly and it is represented textually. Whatever it is there, and the text is good enough. So no need to put any graphical items to represent the things. Next, what are the advantages of pull down menu? So the first one, the menu bar reminds of existence of pull down menus. So whatever the main menu is there, that is going to represent. That is the, for a user, it reminds that there are the several options for a pull down menu. So that's what the meaning is. Next, may be located relatively consistently on the screen. So it can, parallelly the display of the submenu option can be focused. So that will help user or the customer to utilize whenever they want. Okay, so that is the meaning of the second part. Next, no video space is consumed when it is not used. If you have not used the window space, it will not occupy. It is just like a thin display. It will not take up the window space or screen space or something like that. Okay, it is easy to browse through. It is very easy to browse through. And next, vertical orientation is most efficient for scanning and grouping. So you might have seen, so here it is showing a vertical, not the horizontal. Look at here, this none, left, right, center, this coming in the vertical fashion, not in the horizontal fashion, and that helps the further, that increases the efficiency. Next, vertical orientation permits more choices to be displayed. So it permits what are the more choices should be displayed. So that's what the meaning is. Next, allows for display of both keyword equivalent and accelerators. So whatever the keyword equivalents are there, accelerators are there, that will be displayed by this type of the pull down menus. Okay, this is all about the advantages. So next, come to the disadvantages of the pull down menu. It requires searching and selecting from another menu before seeing the option. So when you want to see any particular option, you need to go to the main. So you need to you should know the path. So which main menu will provide the facility and all those things. Okay. So next, it requires looking away from main working area to read. Okay, so this is all about the the disadvantages. It requires moving the pointer out of working area to select using keyboard equivalents. Okay, so this is what it telling is. So whenever you want to opt any options in the sub menu, the mouse movement is required. Mouse movement is required, and this is required. Just a minute. On it, Father. Next, come to the the third menu. So with respect to the drawbacks, so the fourth drawback is the items are smaller than full size button, slowing selection time. Slowing a selection time may obscure the screen working area. So suppose the working area of screen may trouble. Okay, so that is what the meaning of the drawbacks drawbacks of the pull down menu. It may hamper the screen area, or it may not be able to perform properly with respect to the sub menu concept. So any doubts here, Rishika?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we understood what are the advantages and disadvantages with respect to the pull down. So advantages is it is very easy, and it doesn't consume so much of the spaces. But when you come to the drawback, the screen share it occupies more screen areas, and it is not allowing to work for the user. So that is what it means. Next, so come to the cascading menu. Cascading menu is to reduce number of choices presented together for selection. Okay, that's what the meaning cascaded means. So number of choices will be there for presenting in a selection. For example, RAM size. When you are booking a laptop, so you might have select the RAM size, 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB. All the related options will be presented. That is referred to the cascading menu. Okay. So when a menu specifies more alternative, the alternative can be grouped in meaningful related sets on a lower level menu. So what it represents, suppose while you are buying a laptop in online, okay, so you need to select the RAM configuration artist configuration, graphics card configuration, so many options. If they put everything in the randomly, it is difficult. For you, it is maybe easy because you are an engineer. You may go and somehow you manage to select the option. But when it comes to the like a novice user who is a non-technical person, they want it in a group fashion. RAM, under RAM, all the options should be there. Under artist, all the options should be there. Under graphics card, all the related options should be there. Like that. They want a groupings of the submenus. That is what the meaning of the second line statement here. When a choice leads to a short, fixed list of single choice properties are required. When choices are very short, for example, I am asking only the gender of the person in the screen. So male and female is the two options. So this is very short. So choice. So it can be put it in a crisp, clear way. Okay, that's what the meaning is. When there are several fixed sets of related options, okay, so we need to, when there is a multiple option, we need to simplify, we need to subgroup, we need to order it, we need to group it. That's what the meaning of the cascading menu here. Next, come to the advantages of the cascading menu. The top level menus are simplified because some choices are hidden. Okay, so this is the advantages. And the more first letter mnemonics are available because menu process favor alternatives. Mnemonics in the sense the shortcuts will be available. Got it? There is a shortcut that will be available for helping the user whenever they want to do some operation. They can go for the mnemonics. Mnemonics in the sense the control Y, control S, control F, something like that, so that it will help the user to understand the or to work quickly with respect to the operations. Next, high level command browsing is easier because subtopics are hidden. So what is the high level command browsing? So high level command browsing in the sense you are just going blind view. So you no need to understand in detail where the things is. That if you want to save, you are just visiting file and saving. So that is what the meaning. You no need to understand in detail. Suppose if you want to pick up the RAM size, you will directly go to the RAM section, and there you are going to put the size that you want. So that is the advantage of cascading menu. Next, the drawbacks and disadvantage of cascading menu. The access to submenu items require more steps because you need to visit the main menu, then the submenu, and then the options and choices. So this takes more steps. And access to submenu items require a change in pointer movement direction. So mouse movement, the direction you have to change, and the cursor things you have to change because when you are typing something, so may be because it may affect or something slow down your operation. Next, exhaustive browsing is more difficult. Some alternative remain hidden as pull downs become visible. Okay, exhaustive browsing is more difficult. Exhaustive, for example, you want to search with respect to the detailed level. For example, maybe the motherboard option in the while you are selecting a while you are booking an online laptop, motherboard selection or the graphics card configuration that required exhausting browsing because where exactly it is located, where they have put, so everything matters. So this is all about the drawback with respect to the cascading menu. Next, pop-up menu. So what is the meaning of pop-up menu? So pop-up menu, like, so it is opposite to the pull-down menu. So when you pop, the menu will be displayed, and it is making the user to select the options. Okay. So first point, it used to present alternatives or choice within the context of task. For example, you are selecting a text for paste, copy paste. Okay, when you are copy paste, the pop-up menu will come into picture. Okay, so you are first selecting the once you select the text, the paste, once you click on the copy or control C, so the control V will be activating this. So control P can be possible when you do a control C. So till you do control C, control V will not be activated. That's what the meaning here. Okay, so choices within the context of task, will be present only when you start with the particular operations. Okay, so that's what the meaning is here. While you are designing any user interface, you should know. So because you are a software engineer, when you are developing any project or any software for that matter, you should understand what is menu, how it should be, what should be the functionalities, how the structure or formatting to be done for the menu, what type of menu is useful on what circumstances. So that and all you have to go through one by one, then only you can do the better thing. So this pop-up menu is resemble pull down menu only. It looks like a pull down menu only, but so it cover up a better context compared to the pull down menu. But you being a software developer, you have to take a decision which option is better. Okay, that's what the meaning here. In a look, they mentioned they usually resemble pull down menu. It's similar to the pull down menu. It the kind of choice displayed in pop-up menu or context sensitive, means so based on the context, so it is going to be the operation is possible. Okay, so when sometime what happen, you will not select the text, you will not do control C, or you will not press control C. So that time control V pull down or pop-up menu will not work. So that is what the meaning here. These menus are most useful for presenting alternative within the context of user immediate task. Okay, so this is providing options. So for a user immediate task. So whenever you become a blank while you are using any website or any operation, when you become a blank, you do the right click. When you do the right click, the relevant options you will get automatically. In such a way, you have to develop any software when the user struck at any point of the time. So you should provide them the right click option. When they do a right click option, so the relevant operation should be enabled at that moment. Okay, so based on the current circumstances, the option should be enabled. Next, what are the advantages of pop-up menu? It appears in the working area. It does not use window space when not displayed. Okay, so when it is not displayed, so it will not take up any of the pages because it's a right click. When you do a right click, you will get the options. Next, no pointer movement is needed if selected by button. So pointer movement is not required because if the button is there, you can directly press and you can use it. The functionality. Vertical orientation is most efficient for scanning and grouping. Vertical orientation in the sense, whenever you are doing operation, instead of horizontal alignment, they use a vertical alignment, and the related options will be enabled. So that is what the meaning of the fourth point. Vertical orientation allows more choices to be displayed. Okay, so when it display vertically, so more option you can see and you can select from the list. Next, allows for display of both keyword equivalent and accelerator. So the shortcut, whatever you are using, Alt F, Alt S, or Control V, Control S. Okay, so this also can be displayed in the keyword equivalent accelerator. Okay, so what is the drawback of pop-up menu is its existence must be learned and remembered, because it is an invisible thing until unless you press right click, so you will not get that. So it should be remembered. You should know. It is difficult to remember because not every user will be remember. When they come, when there is no options available on the screen, you will become a struck. So you don't know. Maybe you may forget to press a right click to know the different option. So its existence must be remembered. So the one user must be trained, or he should be well versed with the system, that when you press a right click, you will get an option, something like that. Okay. Next, means for selecting it must be learned and remembering. That's what the training, and it should be well versed with the same thing. It requires special action to see the menu. So maybe the mouse click is required, because to see the option you have to do mouse click, so that they consider that as a drawback, because while you are typing, movement from typing to the mouse maybe take some seconds, and maybe that slow down the operations of the user. So that's what the mean for. Next, items are smaller than full size button, slowing selection at time. So the full size buttons and whatever it appears normally, maybe the items are smaller than the actual things, may obscure the screen working area. When it display, once you do a right click, when it display, working area will be cover up with the right click options. So that is a drawback that they are saying. It display location may not be consistent. The what the location, whatever the location you right click, so there it will be displayed. It is not the consistent. It is only displaying in the right corner or top or left or top right. Wherever you do a right click, it will display the option. So that's what the meaning. So that is another drawback they're telling. Next, come to the iconic menu. It is used to remind users of the functions, commands, attributes, application choice available. Icon menu is something like here. When we visit to here, see, look at here. So these are the full screen, web layout. These are all the iconic menu. Okay, so this they are referring iconic menu, and it's used to create that help enhance recognition as an option selection. It it are, icon menus are concrete and meaningful. It clearly represents the choices. Okay, that is about the iconic menu. Advantage and disadvantage of iconic menu. With respect to this, the picture help facilitate memory of the operation. For example, the pictorial representation of the any icon will help the user to understand better. Look at here. When you go to the this floppy disk, whatever the floppy disk or this button appears, this refers to the save. So this is a save icon, so which helps better to memorize whenever the user wants to use it, can be used. Next, picture consumes considerably more screen space than text. So another drawback is it consumes more space, because when you put a button or the floppy disk or the save button, it consumes more space there than it. They are difficult to organize for scanning efficiency. To create meaningful icon requires special skill and an extended amount of time. You got it? So this is a, it required a special skill when you want to put the option in pictorially. It required different special kind of skills, and it is a extended amount of time. It requires more time to design. So you being a user, software developer or software designer, you may take more time to put a figure in there and all those things. This is with respect to the so the menus that we come across so far. So any doubts with respect to this, you feel free to ask. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No?
No,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Let quickly we'll go through what all we studied in this particular chapter. It's a summary, okay, summary of the chapter. So they start with the system menu and navigation. We discuss the structures of a menu, function and contents of a menus, formatting of menus, writing menus, graphic menus. Okay, this we discuss. In the different structures of menus represent single menu, sequential, simultaneous menu, hierarchical menu, connected menu, event wrapping menus. Okay, and here the simple menu has been discussed. So all the sequential, simultaneous menu, hierarchical menu, connected menus, so this we discussed. Event wrapping menu, functions of menus also discussed. Next, come to content of menu. What should be the content in the menus? That is we discussed with respect to the consistency, organization, item arrangement, ordering, grouping of the menu, line separators we discussed yesterday, writing menus, menu titles, okay, menu charge description, keyboard equivalence that we discussed, and keyboard accelerator we discussed, standard keyboard accelerator we discussed. We also go through about the graphical menus, menu bar, advantage of menu bar, disadvantages of menu bar, pull down menus, and cascading menus, and pop-up menus, and iconic menu. So this is this completes your third module. Third module is not having it is only focusing on menus, structure, formatting, and all those things. Okay, so this is a summary. So any doubts with respect to this, you can feel free to ask. Anyhow, notes has been shared. Okay, So that you go through once, and if you find any difficulties, you follow or you can ask me in the next class. Okay, next class before beginning, I'll ask if you have any queries so that we can fix up. Rishika, Varsha, any doubts? Kshitij, Sindhula,
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
all are okay. So listen, okay. Next, Apurva, any doubts? Apurva, I missed. Suraj is Janet now. Apurva.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so thanks for the patience listening. Let us start the